Hi, my name's Nina, and today I'm going to share with you how to give your horse an Adequan shot, which is an intermuscular shot. It's something that you don't have to have your vet do for you, but there are a few things that you need to take note of. Actually, I used to have a real hard time last year giving IM injections myself. But once my horse Whizkey started needing Adequan as a monthly basis, I figured this is really something I'm going to have to learn how to do to be able to maintain for him. So because it was a difficult thing for me to learn, I figured having an informative video out there from someone who had a hard time with it initially myself, that might be helpful for other people as well. So what you'll need is a vial of your Adequan. This is actually a vet prescribed item. You can get it online, but most places, I believe all places, will require that you actually have a prescription for it for your horse. This video is not a product spotlight for Adequan. This is just the application of any IM injectable type item. The other thing that you'll need is a minimum 20 gauge needle, and this is a 1 inch long. You can use 1 1/4 inch or 1.5 inches as well, but 1 inch will work fine. You can get packages of these at your local feed store. I happen to get this from Tractor Supply. And then at least a 5 cc syringe, because your Adequan is 5 cc's, so you'll want something that will accommodate being able to hold the whole dosage, so you don't have to prick your horse a second time. The other thing that isn't required, but something that I always do, is I syringe ready with rubbing alcohol to make sure that everything that you're using is sterile, and including the horse's neck. You'll want to rub with a rag or a little sponge like this the area that you're going to be injecting, just to make sure that there's no other bacteria or foreign particles that can get into your horse with this injection. So the first thing I'm going to do is rub that in the site. The area that you want to be injecting in is roughly this triangular patch on him. And the one thing that I've taken note of personally is, because he gets this injection every month, I'll switch which side I'm putting it on each month. So last month it was on the main side, and this month it's going to be on the non-main side. So again, this is the triangular area that you're going to be injecting into. So I'm going to be cleaning the general area that I'm going to put the needle in. Now my horse has gotten used to the smell of the rubbing alcohol, and he knows what's going to be coming from it, so sometimes he's a little bit tense, but that's just something to keep in mind. A relaxed muscle is a lot better to be putting the injection into than a tense one. So however, you might need to make sure that your horse is relaxed through the process. Now these particular needles and setup is a twist-on one. You'll want to make sure that whatever you buy accommodates for each part, and be really careful because there's a needle. So you'll want to make sure that it's covered at all times so you don't accidentally get yourself or your horse, and that you're keeping it as sterile as possible. You can obviously use your sponge to help clean it in the meantime, but just ensure that that is always clean. And I actually like to clean the top of the Adequan with the rubbing alcohol as well, because that's the site that the needle is going to be going in, and I don't want, again, any sort of foreign particles changing that sterile site for the needle. All right, so you'll just pop the cover off of the needle, and again, being careful not to touch the actual site that the needle's going into your liquid with. And I kind of just hold it. I keep the cap for the needle with me so that I can put it back on again when I'm done. And then you just draw back your 5 cc's. Every last bit. Now it's out. And you'll want to make sure that this little bit of air that's in there is pushed out. So you just push it up a little bit until there's a little drop on the needle, and it's ready to be injected. I'll lead him forward. Oh, here's another thing that I'll note. I have him tied here just to get him here and in position, but I do not like to inject a horse while tied because they might freak out, they might pull back, and that's not something that we want them to do. So I'll just have him looped through, loosely tied. All right, so here's our clean site. And something that I always like to do before I actually give him the injection is I'll pinch the skin to give him a distraction point, and then you just really swiftly and at a perpendicular angle push it in, just like that. And you'll make sure that you pull back a little bit and make sure you didn't hit a vein. And I didn't get any sort of blood coming in when I pulled back, so I'm going to start slowly pushing in the Adequan. I do this not too slow but not too quickly. And once it's all in, directly pull the needle straight out. And because I saved the cap, immediately put that back on for safety with the needle. And I don't know if this point is necessary, but it's not just for re-cleaning, but I like to rub the area that I just injected that medicine into to help like disperse it into a system, and it's not just this bulge of fluid sitting in there right now. And last, but definitely not least, some cookies for a good horse, taking his injection like a good boy. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.